Hey, it's ObamasWeapon.com guy. I'm getting slaughtered here. Remember, a person's body, you can have anything going on with it when they're using radiation from satellites and fucking radar, the military. So, sound projections, image projections, damaging a person's tissue, smashing their brain with photons and radiation, all the same stuff you can do with weapons and medical fucking shit. Did you know you can hurt a person with chemo on purpose? Or various other types of directed energy technologies? Well, that's what the government has. Same shit. There's a medical application and a military weaponized application. People don't get it. Man, I could be getting fucking killed and tortured in all the worst ways 24/7, and everyone's just fucking retarded. Not doing shit. Yeah, think about what I could have went through over the last 10 years, since I was 19. Think about the shit that these people have done. Look at what the CIA did to the people they tortured. Look at what they did to the MK Ultra victims. Look at what they did to the human radiation experiment victims. Dude, look what the Nazis did to the Jews. Manufacturing consent for experiments. Look at this is important. In Germany, they had war crime trials. And they've already went over the same stuff we have going on today and found that it was not legal. And that things were done wrong. You had... I gotta look it up again, but I just posted something with Dr. Bregan. He had introduced some of this in the 80s and the 90s to fight psychosurgery in America. And the judges agreed in Michigan to ban this shit. What they were doing in these state hospitals was the same thing they were doing in the Nazi concentration camps. People who had no ability to really consent because they were being threatened and tortured, and they're having their brains tampered with, and it was a First Amendment violation in America. That's what they're saying. Well, they're doing that today. They're doing drugs. They call it a chemical lobotomy for a reason, you fucking idiots. They're doing shock therapies and other mutilative things. And torture. United Nations calls it torture too. So, you're given these, what a lobotomy does. It makes them a zombie. They can't move or talk anymore. And they're fucking gone. Because you damage their brain. That's what goes on with drugs. They're only half of who they might be. And who knows if they have the capability to defend themselves. They've been poisoned with drugs. And when it severs 80% or more of your goddamn brain connections, I guess you're going to be a fucking cripple. And you're probably never going to overcome these motherfuckers. And that's the reason they do it. Because you can't overcome the stuff so easy when they're abusing you. So, anyway, dude, why don't we have one of those war crime trials here in America to find out, what the fuck was going on here in America? All these decades of programs. How it started off with simple chemical weapons and fucking... Yeah, well, what if I told you a secret? What if I told you it was more than chemicals? Just like MK Ultra says, it's not even a secret. There was radiation tests done too. Including with microwaves and other stuff. What if I told you that the Army had programs on that and it's never been investigated? What if I told you that the same time the drug and chemical testing and weapons development started, they were already working on radiation and remote weapons? What if I told you it's actually more secret than the Manhattan Project when they developed the first atomic bomb? What if I told you our fucking forefathers were smart little retards, creating weapons that literally fucked society up? But they had the capability to do it. And they did it. It's all so fucking old. And what they've done is literally murder people. And they wanted the people targeted to feel like they were getting murdered. And it ain't torture. It's actually murdering. The torture, it's, torturing can be damaging a person to the point that they eventually die. So, in a way, it is a murder attempt. In a way, if a person in their soft tissue is damaged to the point that that person's gone, it's pretty much murder. If a person's brain is gone, if all their personality and function is gone and capability to live as a human is gone, well, I guess they were murdered. The same fucking thing as murder. You can kill a person more than one way. You have to think about metaphysics. You have to think about what death is. Death is just your particles falling apart and no longer working as one. That's all death is. Death. Death can start, even before you're completely dead. And it can last for some time. You could slow kill, taking years to die fully. The government knows that. So, I guess it is a murder attempt. I guess they did murder me. I guess you could take and apply this to every staff member who's ever been around me who did this dirty work under the table for the state. Everywhere. They're everywhere. They're fucking all over. The state will pour in investments to control people that know about this and who are victims, because if my case is legit and there was security video backing all up, I guess they would go through all the trouble. And they're goody two-shoes who want to be able to live their lives like they didn't participate all over the place. The state gave them the power to do it. License to kill. Have you ever noticed how no one gets in trouble for anything in America? Cop kills someone, plants a fucking gun on them, plants some dope in their fucking car, spies on them with NSA, kills them in a military experiment, rapes them in a military experiment. Notice how no one went to jail for that ever? It's happened though. It's all real. Hundreds of thousands of fucking victims in America alone. We're all goddamn, the program's still going, dude. It's been exposed so many fucking times through different fucking methods. It's the same program everywhere. They're always committing a crime or some type of fucking retarded shit. Then they just pass it off. Oh, that was bad when we did that. Oh, when we had prostitutes sleep with the fucking mental patients and give them syphilis, and when we did all the goddamn, we were tricking people into taking insulin junk, and we were fucking like, and everyone's just covering up because, dude, it's unpopular to actually support that, and they don't want the mass population to think it's still going on. And your Hillary Clinton has blood on her hands. I laugh my ass off at that bitch running for president. If she was involved, she personally knew about my case, from what I know. I wouldn't put her in an FMR. Like, I wouldn't go and try to fucking, like, figure out what she does know. But I heard members of the highest echelon in government know. I start with someone a little lower, because I know these people. I saw them with my own eyes. So we start exposing them. Okay, then we can go and apply it to everybody else. And all the other victims could similarly do the same, because there's victims all over the place. I've heard of victims from Oregon. I heard of an FBI agent targeted. And I have his name. His name's Bob. And I think Bob Levin. I don't even know his history really, but I know targets all over Eugene. Usually it starts off police involvement and then they're getting targeted. This woman told me a similar story. She's in her 40s. And that's one of the things I first asked, how old are you? Because when I find out that they were older when they first got targeted, that's when I start to think it wasn't mental illness. And then I also know that you can't really tell the difference. You can't even tell the difference from a child hearing voices from a satellite or a fucking schizophrenic. But you can tell the difference only if the person was a little older, then you could kind of figure it out. Older people don't get it as easily. They're usually a sound mind. And then they have a story first, something. The bigger the story, the better. If they don't have a big story, you can't really tell. Most people don't know why they're targeted. Now, I hear a lot of stories of contractors and stuff, and bosses getting people. Yeah, that's the way it works. What they do is those people in our country have the ability to sweep a person under the rug. And it's not just automated, like monitoring, and they're looking for new people to target that might be targetable. That's a possibility. But at the state hospital, they knew they were so bad and dangerous that they could have anyone put into their system that they wanted. And they had this secret capability to make anyone hear voices that they wanted it. These are doctors, every one of them, all the way to the chief medical officer and the superintendent and a different Department of Human Resources. These people are sick. Office Investigation and Training. Oh God, they're so fucking conspiratorial there. They're like, you accuse someone of abuse, they come in and cover it up every time. And that's to protect the state from liability, criminal liability. Like I said, they don't want you to try to criminalize them, and they won't give you the evidence you need to criminalize them. They don't want you to be able to do that, even if it's a crime on the books. The law could be clearly say it's a crime. It's a crime on multiple crimes. Assault and battery, for example. Or violating informed consent, or whatever. The video clearly shows, the security video clearly shows everything the patient said was happening. Oh, shit. Other witnesses. It just gets covered up every time. I also noticed the state hospital, they get the same problem outside of the hospital with sex abuse. They almost refuse to prosecute female staff for raping male patients. Or even female patients. But they're prosecuting the male staff to a higher degree. I think I've heard of 2 cases of prosecution in the past few years of male staff. But not female staff. The female staff never get prosecuted. I haven't seen one. There's been nurses, RNs having sex with patients since the dawn of time at the state hospital. And they get let go at the very most, or they'll cover it up and keep them on board. Those are the 2 things that they do. Keep them on board, cover it up, or fire them and let the relationship go on out of the hospital. But no criminal prosecutions of the female staff. It's fucking sick and weird. There was so I know of many cases, like 5 or 6 cases, just on my own, of female staff fucking patients at the state hospital. Goes back to like 2000. The first one, there was a nurse who was fucking Troy Chaney. And she's hot as a motherfucker or something. I don't even know why. And he's just a retard. He's a big retard, dude. He's fucking stupid. But when I got there, what I was hearing about, so they start having their relationship when she's working there. Then she gets fired, and they're continuing to have a relationship on the phone. And she even comes and fucks him in the bathrooms at the hospital during a visit. loses their privileges, gets them back. Fuck, like, dude, they were being babied. And every day on the phone, he's cussing her out. She's fucking crying, and they're fighting like cats and dogs. Fucking weird shit. That's why you knew about the relationship, because you couldn't avoid it. You'd be listening to them on the phone 5 hours a day fighting. And he'd be telling you, no, I don't want to talk to that bitch. And the next day they're fucking back at it. Fucking. They'd be on the phone apologizing. They're just doing their fucking stupid shit. What other relationships would go on? So Bonnie and Tucker, raping patients, flashing tits, offering sexual services. All that fucking retard shit, covering that crap up. Drug smuggling was involved. Heard another one, Corey Dennison, a guy, like, I think a clerk or someone, was a patient. And there was the case with, and I heard with Corey Dennison, they were going in their room alone somewhere. And she was just fired, just let go. They tried to do that with Bonner too. They didn't do that. Actually, they didn't fire her. They just tried to cover it up. Then she resigns. But the police knew everything about her escape. She tried to get her boyfriend out of the hospital and everything. Different staff were helping him. None of those other staff were punished. They're still working there today. Around 2012, they knew that a nurse RN female was romantically entangled with a patient, and they covered that shit up. Covered that crap up and said, oh, this is unfounded in the report. They tried to cover it up, knowing that it probably wasn't. And I had to go back and read the reports. It's been a while since I read some of this shit. The newspaper covered this crap. And then eventually, you know, the relationship was continuing on after they cover it up. And I know what they were doing. They were probably trying to let her off the hook. And they were covering the situation up. They're not incompetent. They're not stupid. Then hell got stirred up because she was having sex with him. Going into the one closet with no camera. And guess what? All the closets actually are supposed to have cameras. So the fact that she was able to find a closet with no camera is fucking crazy shit. All the other ones have cameras. And apparently she would walk out and she had, after like 7-10 minutes each time, like multiple occasions, they had security video outside of the closet, and her clothes would be all ruffled up, and different things, you know, indicate that she had her pants pulled down, and different stuff. And they had phone conversations, you know, where they're having a romantic relationship fully. Okay, they know. Well, Chris Crawford, they get a hold of this. Ray Rios, Chris Crawford. And they go to the manager staff and they say, you better shut up about it and keep it quiet. Then they retaliate against Chris. He ends up going to the state police, the news media. Retaliated against him, drug him up. He's dead now. He died just months after. And that's what we know. And the drugs were clearly giving him the symptoms of neuroleptic non-juxin. Hardly can talk, hardly can speak, can't sit still, can't fucking focus, fucking like sitting there and just like sick out of your mind. I had a conversation with him before he died. And I listened to him. He couldn't hardly talk, and he wanted to talk to me later. And he just told me a brief bit about it, and then we went into the conversation. And I listened to him, and I understood the way he sounded in his voice. I've heard that before, and I know what the drugs do. So, the psychiatrist would definitely know that's what he was going through. They want to kill people there. They know what they're doing. That's why they keep them forced on the drugs, refusing to let him off. Remember, they retaliated against him. He was on a low security unit. They need to send him to high security unit over this, covering it up. The newspaper ran information about this. That nurse, I think, was let go, but not criminally prosecuted. Oh my God, dude. But that's clearly sexual abuse. And here's the thing about it too. Now, a female patient is sometimes more likely to be willing to say it was abuse than a male, but that's actually shown in the social studies. So, for example, out in the streets, if you're a female and you ask a male passerby to have sex, he'll say yes almost every time. But if you ask a female passerby to have sex, you can ask 100. Most of them will say no. Almost 100%. Depending on where you are. Okay? So if you go to Las Vegas, you might get 6 people out of 100 to say yes. I actually saw this done. The women, 6% will say yes, I want to have sex with you in Las Vegas, if you ask them. Maybe depending on how you look and what you're, whatever. But like California at the beach, you're doing that? They'll say no, 100%. But semi-attractive. Another thing they did was they learned that a female can steal stuff and they won't question her right out in public. But a male who does it, all the fucking people around all of a sudden angry, almost assaulting the male who's doing the stealing. I saw the social experiment done. And it's like on a main street, there's probably hundreds of people walking by. There's 10 people walking by. They plant a homeless guy who pretends to be sleeping there with a fucking tip cup. Female they dress her up ultra hot. Fucking, you can see her ass practically and her fucking tits. Really huge tits. She's able to go by in front of men after men after men after men, and women too, and steal from the tip. Just taking money out. And everyone's watching, but they just keep walking by. A male does it. They change it up. They bring in a male to do it. And the male, dude, everyone is getting assaultive around him. They don't agree with that shit at all. And he's just, I just need to go buy some food. They're chasing him down. They're almost about ready to beat his ass. Different men, different people. You see their facial gestures. Just insane difference. Well, at the state hospital, it's the same fucking thing. The women all protected and sheltered, and they can go and rape and do as much crap as they want, drug smuggling. The males, well, they can do a lot of assaulting. They protect each other. They beat the fuck out of people. And, I don't know what else goes on. There may be whatever else goes on. There's contraband smuggling with the males involved. Occasionally, when the sex happens, I heard 2 prosecutions. But yet, the staff aren't being prosecuted. Even when, like me, I wanted her prosecuted, though. I wanted Bonnie Tucker prosecuted, but I couldn't get it done. Well, whatever they did whatever's going on there, there's something fishy. They're not properly enforcing the law at the state hospital at all. And you can go and see the videos I'm talking about on fucking YouTube. If you want to see these social experiments that were done, they're on YouTube. You could probably search for male asks, 100 women for sex, and then female asks 100 men for sex. And the other one, I'm not sure the name of it, where she was doing the theft, and then he was doing the theft. And then they did find that guys could get girls. I saw another one. They just had to have a nice car. So if they had a fucking Lamborghini or a Ferrari, and they went and asked a girl if they wanted, they could pretty much I mean, this doesn't go far enough that he could get sex out of it, but he could get her in the car every time. You could get a woman to say, yeah, I'll take a ride in the car. You don't have to pressure her. Like, oh, no, come on. And she's like, no, I'm just waiting here for a cab or whatever. Oh, here, come on. I'll take you fucking shopping. We'll go get something to fucking eat, whatever. You know, and fucking, come on, get in. And he'd even go up to a guy with the girlfriend. And I'm just saying, if this is all legit, I mean, I believe some of these are real, it's unbelievable. I know they want to shock people and get viewers at the same time. But, you know, they might be able to go up to a guy with his girlfriend there and get the girlfriend to go leave the boyfriend to get in the car. Actually, we're able to do that. So some of that, yeah, I believe in that. And anyway, crazy ass stuff. So if you got a nice car, you probably could get some pussy. Because she's using the idea of having money and wealth and getting you, you know, interested in her. Oh, yeah. So it takes a little bit more. Unless you're in Vegas, and then you could get some fucking sex. 6% of the women will say yes. You just say, hey, you want to have sex with me? That's all you gotta do. And you keep going up to girl after girl. And if you're a girl, you get 100% of these dudes. Actually, I think maybe like only one of them or two of them said no. Out of all the dudes she went to. That's fucking weird. But if you think about it, in the courts are also like that. They've tried to do so much to eliminate sentencing bias and stuff, and they found they weren't able to do it. Even after redesigning all the rules of the courts, they're still giving women more favorable sentences and outcomes in court than men. Men are being fucking slaughtered. Women are not. And there are jokes about this on the internet. There's like, oh, what's a housing center for women look like? With some nice fucking low-income apartments, for, you know. For men, it's a fucking prison facility. Literally. It's a fucking max security prison system. Low-income housing for men, it's a prison system. Low-income housing for women, it's a fucking goddamn apartment complex. So, back in the old days, there used to be more women than men in mental institutions. Now there's less. So there's been some social change about this too. Whereas women are more emotionally unstable. And where, you know, a long time ago, the state hospital type place, there was way more women there. Now there's actually less. There's only like a couple units of women. And all the rest are men. So they're warehousing men at and it's really sick. It's like a sausage fest. You get into their system, it's a sausage fest of men. That's fucking weird, and it's angering because it makes me wonder if I was targeted and abused as just for being a boy, a man, and the girls were getting unfair treatment the whole time. Being allowed to be criminal, not being persecuted or prosecuted. And also, as a man, I could be assaulted and I couldn't get help. I could be abused and whatever. There's definitely women criminals at the state hospital. They're all over besides Bonnie and Tucker. They're everywhere. They're violent and crazy. And yeah, but I know that's part of the system where they're all violent and crazy. But, you know, one of the other things is all these women working there can't get in trouble. None of them.